Alright, hey everyone, I'm gonna do a quick patch review of 7.19b Kalapa. So first impressions, I thought that this patch was gonna be slightly bigger, to be honest. It's a very focused patch on the heroes that were picked a lot at TI, which does make sense. So let's just start with buybacks, which I think were and most likely still are super overpowered. So how it worked right now, buyback respawn time penalty changed from plus 25% of remaining time to plus 25 seconds always. So right now, I guess when you bought back and then you died, if you died after you bought back, you would have a bonus respawn time, right? And apparently it would be 25% of the remaining time that you still had left to be respawning. Which means if you have 100 seconds left of respawning, then it would have given you 25 seconds more time the next time you die, if I understand that correctly. Which means now if you buy back and die, you will most likely be dead for a longer time than you used to be before. For it to be the same amount as it would be now, you would have to buy back with 100 seconds left on the clock, which is not that common, unless it's very, very late into the game. At least if I'm understanding this correctly, which I think I am. Level 2 XP requirement changed from 200 to 230. Basically, you still get level 2 if you kill the whole creep wave and nothing gets denied. If I do believe. So basically, if you buy back now, there's a high chance if you die again, you'll just be dead for a longer time. It makes buybacks a lot worse until the later stages of the game. If you kill all creeps, I think you still get level 2, at least considering that none of it gets denied. Yes. Okay, you still get level 2 if you kill all the creeps. Basically what this does is it makes lanes not as imbalanced if one lane gets a deny advantage. In a scenario where Team A gets 2 melee denies per wave and Team B gets 1 melee deny per wave, Team A wave requirement for level 2 increases from 2 waves to 3 waves. So basically it offsets something that was slightly imbalanced, that one team will just hit the next level one wave prior with one bonus deny, which is now different, which I think is pretty good. I would have still liked to see denies nerfed as a whole, but whatever. Glyph is on a cooldown. I think this is fine. You were seeing it a lot in mid and in the off lane when it comes to like tower diving. And then we go over to items. So they buffed Stout Shield. To be honest, I think the more the meta evolved and the more people played the game, the more and more I realized that I felt like this was a very heavy range meta game. Like, you had some really safe hero picks or heroes that you could just pick and feel good about compared to a lot of others. Like when I played pubs, if I would really want to win, I was really bored lately, so I wasn't really feeling it to play these heroes. But you could pick Weaver in like nearly every game. Why? Because he's safe. You can put him in any lane. He has pretty good matchups, and he'll do fine. Same with a hero like Potom, maybe Venomancer, you know? These heroes are like good in lane, but a lot of these heroes, they're ranged. And a lot of the supports are also ranged. Like Willow, Venge, CM, and so on. So I think with, I think they slightly tried here to make melee heroes a little bit better. I don't think how big this change will be, but 2 damage block more with a 50% chance, it will add up a little bit. I'm not gonna say melee heroes are OP now, but I think it's a decent step in the right direction. Then you have Ring of Aquila nerfed with -3 base damage, which I think has... I've been waiting for this nerf for like a year. I've been preaching this item for like over a year. This item is just overpowered. It's still very strong now. Then you have items like Mech and Guardian Greaves that got buffed a little bit, 25 heal. Personally, I would have preferred a lower recipe cost or a lower mana cost, but this is at least a step in the right direction for these 2 items. I also had a list on Twitter of things where I said they should get nerfed. I did mention Ring of Aquila and Urn. I think Urn is a bit too strong. I said they should get nerfed by 10%, so it's kind of there. But I was thinking of the heal approach. I don't know how much damage it deals. I think it's 200 damage. It's 8 times 25. Yeah, it's 200 damage. Oh well. It's also a step in the right direction. They lowered movement speed on Vessel, which I think is fine. Mana cost on Scythe increased. I think the hero that this matters for the most is probably Tinker, and then Strength and Agi heroes. But if you do consider, let's say, you're not gonna buy it on Sven, but let's see how much mana do you get from Hex on a non-intelligence hero? I think it's quite a lot. You get 400 mana and the mana cost is 250. Of course it may make a difference, but you get a lot of mana from this item, so I don't think that... I believe this is not gonna change that much for the majority of heroes. It may change something for some of them. So that's a lot. So I think that's still fine. Phase boot nerf mainly for ranged heroes. They lowered the movement speed range. Not the movement speed range, but the percentage of the move speed. What's up? And they also took away the instant turn rate, at least for range heroes. So, like I've been saying, I think this favors melee heroes a little more. The stout shield buff, they made phase boots a bit worse for ranged heroes, which I think was mainly... I mean, phase boots are good throughout the whole game, but they peak in the laning phase. And then you have Ring of Aquila. I mean, it's spot on all types of heroes. Whether it's agi heroes in the safe lane, melee or range. But I think right now we're seeing more range heroes, so I would consider this more of a range hero nerf than melee. Even though it does affect... it does affect both of them, of course. I just think you may see a few melee heroes maybe slowly creep back with just these nerfs that I've been talking about. And also, it's going to have to do with the heroes that are getting nerfed in the gameplay update, which we're going to talk about now, the heroes. Because I think it's mainly affecting ranged heroes. But let's just head on over to the heroes. You have Alchemist. He loses a multiplier from the bounty runes, which I think was really high. So the first bounty rune gives 40. If you bound, Al gets a 3.5. So he got what? 140 gold for the first rune. Is that correct? Now he gets 80. That's a lot. So you have to level it up in order for it to get the same later on, sure. But it makes his scaling slower. And the faster you get gold, the easier your lane is, the easier you progress throughout the whole game. Like, it's like a snowballing process. One thing that I didn't like about this is, I think Battle Alchemist is underrated. You know, the one where you go farming. But now, if you go Battle Alchemist, like let's say you want to keep the Grievous Greed level 1, it makes Battle Alchemist a lot worse. Because if you put all your skill points in the QW now, then you lose a lot of gold on the bounty runes. But that's just one reason why I didn't like this nerf so much. I think Alchemist did need one, because he's pretty toxic, like a pretty toxic hero to play against. But perhaps there was another way to do it. But I think it's good anyhow, the hero did need it. Bloodseeker got a very minor nerf in my opinion. But you do have to be careful with this hero as well, because the less strong he is in the lane, like his strength is laning phase, at least for the most part. So if he can't stay on high HP and not out-sustain you, then he loses a lot of his credibility in the lane. I don't know if that's the right word. But it's a small nerf. I'm not sure how much it's gonna matter. I don't play much BS myself. But yeah, it's I guess a step in the right direction as well. Broodmother got a base agi nerf, which I think is a very interesting approach. I would have never thought of this nerf for Broodmother if I were to balance this hero. But I guess it reduces some of her base damage, which is very low. She has really fucking bad base damage already. It's like in the 40 range. I think you have like 47 level 1 without any stats, if I'm not mistaken. Just let me find out real quick. You have 44. Yeah, of course. You had 47, but now you have 44. So it's very low. It's very low damage. It makes your early levels a lot harder. It also makes you attack a little slower, and you lost a little bit of armor. Let's see. You have 3.0. You lost 0.6 armor. You lose some attack speed. You lose a little bit of move speed. I think it's very minor. 1.1%. You lost 0.2% move speed, 3 damage, 0.6 armor. and some attack speed, which I did mention. So it may make a difference. I don't know if this does anything, but it's, you know, in the early levels when you need to last it without spiders, this will make a difference. Penitence got nerfed. I think it makes a lot of sense. This spell is retarded. I'm sorry to say it, but a level 1 spell that lasts 8 seconds that makes you take more damage and a movement slow for 70 mana, it's crazy. It's just all out crazy. Klink's base strength reduced by 2. This matters for sure for a hero like Klink's. This hero already has low HP. So reducing his 8, like, this hero losing 2 base strength is a big deal. Because compared to other heroes, this is a way higher percentage of his overall health pool. They nerfed Crystal Maiden's Nova again. It's the same level 1, slightly higher level 2. You'll mainly see it level 3 and 4. Alright. So I wonder if in some games you might opt to go like 2, like you go like 201 and then you leave Nova at 2 for a bit and maybe get your aura and you have Frostbite. I'm not sure. It's another small nerf to CM, which is a good hero, but we'll have to see how it goes. Dark Willow did get nerfed with 2 spells as well. I think all of his spells are incredibly strong, even though I do feel like this. Once again, this would not be my approach of nerfing this hero, personally. Let's find out if I feel like there's a difference in the cast point. 141, baby. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see about that, because I want to see if there's a difference in cast point on this hero. Because I play this hero quite a bit. I could feel it a little bit. Yeah, I could feel it a little bit. Personally, I would have taken a different approach to this hero. I think Bramble Maids, first of all, I think they overbuffed it when they did it the last time. They put it from 100 damage to 140, which is a lot. You need to consider that sometimes you will hit more than one hero, or you will hit a hero and he may run into it twice. So this personally would not have been my approach, but it is a nerf to Dark Willow, which I personally think is an overpowered hero. Perhaps even underrated hero, I'm not sure. I feel like at TI we didn't see it enough, personally. This hero is ridiculous. All of her spells are good. I mean, the one weakness she has is that she gets hard countered by hard purges, like people that buy Lotus Orbs, Abaddon, Oracle, and whatnot. But those heroes you don't see too much of. But yeah, let's talk about Drow Ranger. I know I talked about it before I started this, but I'll just have to do it again, as I'll put this in the video. So she lost base Agi. Her damage is the same, but she lost Agi. Her agility gain went up by 0.3. So if you want to look at it that way, her damage is the same, her Agi is lower, her Agi gain is higher. So at some point she'll have more damage in the game. Because she didn't lose damage, but she lost Agi. But over time she will gain more Agi again with a 0.3 gain. In time to get 7 Agi back, you need like 23 levels. That's 6.9 Agi bonus. So then you'll be about the same. So somewhere in late game you'll have a bit more damage. But with -7 Agi going away, and only the base damage is unchanged, it means that you have less Agi, which means your teammates get less damage. So what you did in the last patch is, I think you bought like 4 stats or 5. Yeah, you had 26 Agi. So if you... Last patch, if you bought 4 stats, if you bought these starting items, you would give your entire team 3 damage, right? Because then you would end up at 30 Agi right now. But now you can't do that. You're gonna give your team 2 damage with level 1 aura for quite a while. Until you get... If you get level 2, you need a Wraith Band and 2 branches in order to give them 3 damage. And she also lost a base armor and some attack speed. I mean, it may not seem like much, but it definitely it makes a small difference. And I think mainly what hurts her is that she lost armor. This hero is already very susceptible to like pressure in the lane. Okay, Enge base movement speed reduced by 15. She has 320 move speed now, I think. Once again, this is a very interesting approach. I did think about this once before, that her move speed is so damn high, which allows her to maneuver really nicely, or like also outrun ganks. 328? Wait, how is that possible? Her move speed was 340. Oh god. I thought this did a bit more than I thought actually. But I mean, I feel like this is an interesting nerf, but I feel like this is not enough. You're gonna feel it a little bit against some heroes. I would have liked something else for Ench.
Shady lanes and sunny glades await.
Like maybe what is it? Her base damage is 49 to 59. I feel like you could nerf her attack damage a little bit. It would make laning against her slightly easier. It would still make her very strong. I mean, I'm gonna have to wait to see this out. The problem is she still has 325 move speed, which is like I think top 5 move speeds in the game. But it's a nerf, I guess. So they nerfed Gyro, which I personally I cannot understand. This hero was not picked without IO as far as I'm concerned, or barely. So what they did with Gyro compared to Drow, he had his base damage and armor unchanged. But they reduced his agi by 5, but his damage and armor is the same. Which means he lost attack speed and he loses move speed. If that should be all, if I'm not mistaken. Gyro, no. I think this is fine, but personally I don't understand why he got nerfed. I consider this hero to be not that great at the moment. Huskar, he got nerfed as well. I guess it makes a little bit of sense, even though I don't fully agree. I don't think he had a good win rate. I don't think he was overpicked. I mean, he's a little bit cancer, sure, but -2 and 6 damage is quite big, because this hero sucks balls early levels. I feel like this hero starts being good at like level 3 to 4 when you get like either 2 levels in burning spears or a level in heal, because then you're actually strong, then you can start fighting people. And then the health talent increased, okay. Io got nerfed. I think this nerf's okay. Personally I don't play Io, but I know that this hero is very strong. Just conceptually I think this hero is very insane. So this makes, for example, this makes jungling harder, this makes double spirit bombing harder because the duration of balls is 19. You could refresh it once you get level 2 to make them explode and spawn new ones. You cannot do that now until level 3. Correct me if I'm mistaken, I don't play IO. They reduce the XP talent a bit, which is also fine. They nerfed Pawdon with only the level 15 talent, which I guess is fair. The hero's not really overpowered. It's a solid hero. And the 80 attack speed talent is still very strong. I'm surprised Nature's Prophet was nerfed. They reduced his base damage by 3 as well. Can't really follow that nerf either. I don't think he was picked particularly much in the patch. At TI, rather. Then you have Necrophos. They rescaled his agi. They reduced his agi by 3, but they gave his agi gain +1. So he lost 0.6 armor. Level 1. He will regain nearly all of the agi he lost throughout the game. But basically this is a half armor nerf in the early game. A slight movement speed nerf as well, because he lost some agi and 5. So I think he loses like 6 movement speed or 7 and 0.6 armor, which is, I guess, interesting. I don't know what his base armor is right now. His base armor is 2.9. And he's a very slow hero. So this does matter a little bit, but once again, this is a very interesting approach. I most likely would have nerfed this hero slightly different. Perhaps his sustain from the Q. But I feel like in Dota what they do, they don't nerf the strong aspects of heroes. They make their weaknesses more apparent, like that he actually doesn't have bad armor, but that he's like a slow hero, so they make him even slower. Phantom Lancer. I guess it makes sense. This talent is retarded. It went from 5 to 7 and now to 6. I mean, it's still a great talent, sure. If this is all you're gonna do to PL, I guess it makes somewhat sense. This hero is not that easy to be played right now, with all the laning pressure and all the range heroes and whatnot. So, yeah, I guess. Not much to say to this nerf. Arcane Curse got nerfed. I kind of saw this coming. I think over the time, all spells with low mana costs are gonna get nerfed in Dota. It happened with Shaker's Enchant Totem. It happened with Doom's Inferno Blade. I think it's gonna happen with Haze eventually if Brewmaster becomes a meta hero. Well, they did nerf it already when it comes to cooldown. But all these low mana cost spells, there were more spells I was thinking about in the game that are just so strong. It happened with Vengeance Wave of Terror, like in cooldown. All these spells that have like low mana cost or low cooldown or both, they're just gonna be nerfed eventually, because it's just fundamentally slightly broken. I think this spell got a very hard hitting with 105 mana. A 30 mana cost increase level 1 is high. I think they could have put it to like 100 or 95. Maybe 100. I feel like if they put -5 on all levels, I would have preferred it more, because I feel like this hero is pretty cool. Maybe it's a bit boring to play against, but I'm just a fan of the hero. I think this is a good nerf, but I would have liked to see it slightly less nerfed, personally. Spectral Dagger Linger Duration reduced from 2 to 1. I assume that is the linger time you have. I don't know if that is the vision on the hero, or if it's the bonus you get from the dagger. I believe it is at level 25 Necros will still be missing 0.5 agi. Yeah, that is true. How do I say this? I think it's the amount of lingering time you have to path freely when you run out of the dagger. No, this is way too long. Oh no. Okay, the movement speed is there, but you running over cliffs is not there. It ends. I think this is what changed, right? So if I run out of the dagger now, 1 second. Yeah, that's what changed. The cliff walking and running through trees. That is a pretty decent nerf, to be honest. It makes Spectre juking and whatnot a lot harder. Half a second. Yeah, this would be the highest amount you could make it over. So if I'm not mistaken and I'm not being a dumbass right now, then this is what they changed. Okay, I'm gonna do this first. Desolate single hero range check increase. Okay, so this is plus 50 range where Desolate may not proc if there's a hero nearby. I don't know how much 355 radius is. Something like this could be 355. No. What? Okay. I guess before it was like this much. And then it's the last one that's... I didn't even know. So dispersion max reflection range reduced from 1000 to 700. Max radius. So it means if you're more than 700 radius away using spells with Spectre, you will not take any damage. I just wonder, are the numbers the same? So if you were 1000 range away before, but now 700, do you, in comparison, take the same damage? Spawn hero. Oh no. Create hero Pugna enemy. Level bots 24. So this is definitely more than 700 range. I don't know how much range this is. You have 700 and I've... Let's just, for the sake of this, make it level 4. Hello? This is supposed to be 750 range, which means I should not get affected by dispersion. That will be correct. So if I take this one now, 700 range. Why do I not take damage? Okay. I take 8 damage. I guess the number should definitely be the same, right? So it's not as significant as it sounds at first. Yeah. No, I know that it's definitely it lessens with distance. Also, let's find out the damage. So if she will always take less damage, right? She went to 1133. Yeah, she will always take less damage, no matter how close or far you are. Yeah. Okay, but this helps a lot for some heroes. I guess the stats are the exact same. Like if you're 700 range away to compare to the 1k before, it should be the same damage. 30, 60. Yeah. Why is that minimum range? Because the closer you are to Spectre, the more damage you end up taking. That's why. Like, let's look at this. If I go really close to him with a level 5 Dagon. Okay. I take 114 damage, which is actually less than I thought. But if I'm further away, like 26 damage, 55. Yeah. But if I'm super close, I take 114. Well, he takes 400, so yeah. Anyhow, enough about Spectre. This is actually interesting. I thought that the nerfs were less when I read it yesterday, but now that I tried it, this is slightly more than I thought. Then we go over to Tiny. 3 grab mana cost increase from 20, 30, 40, 50 to 50. That is a lot. Tiny has really bad mana pool, if I am not mistaken. Obviously, it's not great because he's a strength hero. 279 mana. It's a lot of mana to use to 3 grab. Also because you mainly keep the spell level 1. So it's a 30 mana cost increase for a lot of levels. And they increased avalanche. So you have to be careful like which spells you leave low level. Then they also nerfed overpower for Ursa. This is also a lot because this is also one of the spells that you don't level too much if I'm not mistaken. A lot of Ursa, simply because they buffed it last patch where you gain 4 bonus attacks over 1. People opted to max out the Earthshock. Aftershock, Earthshock. Earthshock. They definitely max that out first, or you get at least 3 levels on it, and then you can balance out your passive and overpower. But this also matters a little bit, because once again, this is a hero with not the highest mana pool, so plus 30 mana. It will add up and make a small difference. Still a great hero, still a great laner. Wave of Terror on Venge. Very needed nerf, to be honest. This spell is ridiculous. Might still be ridiculous, in my opinion. Because this is also the first spell that you max out. So if you get level 3, it's only a 4-second cooldown increase. The mana cost is super low. The ammo reduction is still high. The damage is still good. The vision is great. Like, this spell is very strong. And this hero overall is very potent, so. Could have maybe been slightly more. But yeah. Weaver. Swarm mana cost increased. Once again, this is depending on what build you do and how active you are, this may be the skill that you leave level 1. Once again, Weaver not a hero that shits out mana. So this nerf also matters a lot. A lot of mana cost nerfs and like just nerfs to some spells, making people have either higher mana usage or decide more on which spell they do want to end up maxing out. Like, for example, if you want to play Venge, if you max the spell, then the nerf gets less significant the higher level you get. It's the same with Tiny. If you max out Avalanche, which most people do, then you will feel the nerf less and less. Same with Tree Grab. Like, if you level it up, then the nerf won't feel as strong. But if you leave Tree Grab level 1, then you will feel it a lot, because it's gonna be 30 mana for all the time you use it, since you're not leveling it. And then you have Wraith Fire Blast on Wraith King. They up the cooldown, which I think is good. The hero is insane early levels. Usually when you fight in these dual lanes, Wraith King stuns, then his ally, whatever, he slows or stuns, and then throughout the fight, mainly you will get a second stun in, which is ridiculous. Because the mana cost, once again, is super low. So they had to buff they had to nerf the cooldown. What I would have liked to see on Wraith King is actually that the skeletons get nerfed a little bit. Either that they give maybe double the bounty. I think they give 5 gold and 5 experience. Like, come on, man. It's ridiculous. Brute Spiders and Wraith King Skeletons give nothing. I would have actually preferred those nerfs to those 2 heroes. Compared to this and the Brute nerf. But that's just my opinion. Because the Skeletons, they're strong. They have magic resistance. They hit hard. They hit fast. And there's like no repercussion to like being bad, you know? Just spawning skeletons and feeding them, or just having spiderlings and feeding them. So yeah. Alright though, this was pretty much it. These were my impressions on the patch. I would have hoped that it would be a little bit bigger. But all in all, it's a decent patch. And like I'm saying, I think you may see a small increase of melee heroes. Not fully sure yet, but we'll find out. And the buyback change definitely matters. Gonna have to try that out and see. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe. And see you next time.